Hey guys, it's Phil here. Just wanted to make this video about my first game and why I ultimately gave up on it. Little background story, I've been trying to make this game for about 2 or 3 months, and I'm doing it with my cousin, but we have no idea on how to make games. It's just a hobby for us, so what we wanted to do was sort of like an RTS where you control multiple characters and go through dungeons, and there's boss fights, there's loots, there's leveling up. And this is sort of what we came up with. Um, we are using Game Maker Studio to create this game. So the very early stages of the game was just us trying to learn how to like the basics of Game Maker Studio, and this is what I was able to do on probably the day one, I think. Keep in mind I have no idea how to make games at all, but I do have a little bit of programming background. So yeah, as you can see here, I've got this sprite that I've downloaded online. Everything is I got free online, and the idea is to have all your characters on here, and it's just like an RTS, like Warcraft. If you select something, you can right-click to move them. You can select everyone. I was able to get that working. A little bit of collision, and oh yeah, I even added the first boss ability, I guess, where he summons these little skeletons. As you can see here, I think I made them red to indicate that they're in attacking mode. But yeah, that's all I got for the first like build of the game. Moving on, you can see as I'm learning, I end up adding more to the game itself. So in this build, I think I added some boss skills. As you can see here. The good thing with Game Studio is there's a lot of tutorials online, so it's quite easy to learn. Yeah, there's some UI elements here. I added a health bar. Let's see the okay, yeah, I remember this. So the idea was to have the boss, shoot off this continuous stream of fire, and we'd have to dodge, and at the same time control your other characters and see how much damage you can get in. So I wanted this game to be challenging, and like you're supposed to die, and that's why the boss mechanics are kind of crazy. So that was, I believe, day 2 or 3 that I've got that working, and then in this build of the game, you can see I was messing around with the tile sets, so I've got this like desert sand kind of a thing, and I've changed the sprites to more class oriented. So I was going for like a knight, mage, and archer. So let's see what this build has. Oh yeah, so I've toned down the fire stream a bit and to have it more, come out as like over time instead of a stream. Um, you can see that little fire lightning thing floating around, and I don't know if you can see this clearly, but down here there's like character indicators. So the idea was to have them as a hotkey. So if you select one, it would select the knight, and then you can move around. 2 would be the mage, 3 is the archer, and then I guess here all. And then depending on who you have selected last, it would bring up their skills down here in the HUD. See, I got pretty far with this, and then as I said before, I was working with my cousin on this game. So around after this update is when he started coming in, and then he added a whole lot to the game. So you can see here he added this tile set, so it looks a lot cleaner. And at this point, I think we changed direction completely on the game. We still wanted to do boss fights, uh, very challenging boss fights, but we talked about like a multiplayer component. So instead of controlling multiple characters, it'd be just one character, but where you pick a class and you sort of build that class. So I think he added the character selection screen, and he created the first boss, as you can see here. So this is the character selection screen, and you sort of just cycle through. The only character we got working so far was the Sword Saint, which is what I created. Actually, before I show you this character, I wanted to show you my whole thinking process of how I got to it. So this might be a little cringy, but I did this a while ago. I made this document as I was playing through this, making this character. You can see the Sword Saint. The idea behind the Sword Saint was to have him like very highly mobile. He's still a melee DPS, but he had some spells to help move him around the battlefield. You can see I created these little gifs just to sort of put my idea on paper so I could show my cousin what I was thinking. Like he's throwing like a little sword here. The cool thing about the Sword Saint was that as you use your abilities on the battlefield, you drop your swords around, and they stayed in place. And the Sword Saint had the ability to teleport to wherever the sword was, so I gave him a lot of mobility. Fallen Sword, just some AoE move. This one right here, I had a lot of time actually making a lot of fun making this character. You can see him shooting out some swords at a monster. Rain of Steel. And then eventually, this is one of like the, I guess the ultimate move. Every class would have him at the end. So this is his where he would just, dash around the battlefield. I tried to make him very flashy, but I'll show you how it translated in game. So go to the Sword Saints. Yeah, so I got this sprite online again. I think it may have been from Final Fantasy even. So as you can see, the game's completely changed now. You control one character with WASD standard controls, but if you look here, you can see my mouse moving around, and that would change the direction of his sword. So if you click, it do his melee attack. So that was to have. The idea is just like an action RPG. So you can see my cousin added this slime monster where it would chase. So this one explodes. You can just sort of fight them, and then they would, do damage and go away. If you look at this character, I spent a lot of time creating this sword resource mechanic. So it would rotate or orbit around this character, and as you use your ability, instead of having mana, as you use your ability, it would consume a sword. So, for example, if I did one, you don't see, I don't have the HUD for the skills, but one would be one of his skills. That sort of, this one was Fallen Sword, I think. So as you pick one, you see a little green target indicator, and wherever you click, it'll have the sword coming down. You see this big blue slime is the boss here. You can see the boss HP at the top. I think we even have damage in here. Let me just take a look. Yeah, you can see the boss HP going down. They would actually attack you. If you walk over a sword, you can see how it fills up my orbit again, I guess. Just the indicator to show you how much swords you're able to use. I wonder what 2 is. Okay, so 2 is the pincushion skill that I had in the document, so it would be like a little bit of a delay, and then it would fire off the sword. So now I have no swords orbiting. I can't do anything. One of his other skills is to recharge all of his swords. There you go. So and I think that's all I have programmed in. Oh yeah, I did have the teleport working, so let's put some swords around the battlefield. And then look here, yeah, I can select the sword. It's on a cooldown, like 5 seconds I think. And then the idea you can see is to have them quickly move around the battlefield. It's probably on the lesser HP side. So yeah, I think this is as far as we got. We tried to simulate multiplayer, where we're adding all these characters. You can see their HP on the side here, and that was it. It was supposed to be almost like a bullet hell boss fight game, very challenging, but this is as far as we got before we gave up. And I think the reason why we did give up was because we got burnt out. And for me personally, just the idea of pro coding the next steps, I felt very overwhelmed. Such as multiplayer, I had no idea how to implement that. I still don't, and I think I just got scared and gave up. But my advice to you guys is, if you're pursuing game development, just stick to your idea. I think there's a statistic where 90% of indie developers fail is because they don't finish their game. So I think you just gotta stick through it. Take some break. Don't burn yourself out. And yeah, that's just wanted to show you guys my first game and my idea behind it. I did move to Unity now with my next game, so hopefully I finish that. So thanks for watching.